Hello, hobby friends, and welcome to another episode of Hobby Talk. My name is David Baez, and in today's episode, we're going to dive into the world of G.I. Joe action figures with our good friend Joe Curcio. Joe, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Good, David. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, and I'm excited to learn about G.I. Joes outside of watching cartoons as a kid. Not well versed in the toy world, so I know you have an amazing collection. I've seen it in the Facebook groups, and I'm excited to learn. So let's, how I start every interview off. I want to learn about the history. So tell me a little bit about that to start things off.
Well, GI Joe started in the '60s, actually, with a larger, almost doll-sized toy. I guess like a 12-inch toy.
Okay.
And I don't know much about that stuff. That's not my era. I'm an '80s kid, but that is where the line originated by Hasbro. But then fast forward to 1982 is where the 3 3/4 inch toy took off, and and to this day they're still making it. But 82, you had your main characters, the names that are still big today: Cobra Commander and Rock and Roll and Grunt and Snake Eyes. Those guys are all still popular with collectors, and they're
Yeah.
the guys that started it off. And
That's awesome.
it's a huge following. Great toy line.
So would you say from from the historic side of things, 82 was like that big, I know you say that 60s is where it started, but 82 or that, let's call it early 80s, is where it really kind of catapulted and became like a toy cult phenomenon?
Yeah, 82 was of course, like the start of it, the first year. I'd say 85 is the pinnacle year. I mean, just
Okay.
by that time, the cartoon, like you said, came out, and your Storm Shadow, Firefly, these big names that are in the toy line and the comic book and the cartoon just are iconic. So 80,
Yeah.
82 is where it started. 83 it started getting your momentum. 84 is whoa, this is something big.
Yeah.
85, 86 is really boom. Huge following toy line. Millions were produced, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
some of the biggest vehicles in the toy history were made. USS Flag and the Terradrome, and just iconic stuff. Iconic stuff.
Very cool. Now, talk about the progression from, let's say, that mid to early to mid late, let's call it 85 now, into current day. Like, how has it evolved? How are the issues different? What have they done to keep it fresh, if you will?
Yeah, so GI Joe was known for kind of redoing a character. So say a character like I don't know, in '84 they made a character called Blowtorch. Okay, he had the flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
In '88, I believe they came out with another guy with the flamethrower. His name was Charbroil. Just different. Just they revived it, made it fresh again. So
Yeah.
GI Joe is famous for doing that. Just keep the same idea, but just refreshing it.
Yeah.
That I think that's what kept things fresh and kept it going and kept it very interesting. And don't forget, it was a child's toy. So the child of '82, like myself, by '87, I was out of GI Joe. I was in the sports cards by then, but I was
Mm-hmm.
getting older. But that kid that was 7 or 8 starting to collect in '88, well, he didn't want the guy from 1984 because that was 1984 style. He wanted the guy from 1988. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Hasbro did a great job with keeping it fresh and keeping it alive for the children to come along.
So it's a combination of like new characters, but also kind of revamping existing characters and just
Correct.
keeping the cartoon fresh and keeping it like in the times, if you will, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, and so let's catapult now even past the so into, like, let's call it 90s and 2000s and all that. They just kind of kept that going, and would you say the popularity is even there with the youth of today versus like our generation?
Well, in 94 was the last year for the line, and
For the
then
toy line. Okay.
for the toy line, and then in '97 they revamped it with more like I guess like an anniversary line, and just
Got it.
repainted old characters, Destro, Cobra Commander, can just kind of made things fresh again. That
Yeah.
last couple of years, then they cut it out again, and then I think in '99, I'm sorry, '98.
Okay.
2000. I'm pretty sure it was 2000 actually, is when they started again making the 3 3/4 inch figures of the same style and adding a lot of different things, and from that it's been going ever since. So
Got it.
it's going, it's redoing guys over, it's adding new people, new characters to the line. I mean, it's just so kids are still interested, I'm sure. The problem being is things are getting more expensive and it's becoming more of an adult hobby.
Yeah. Well, they took G.I. Joe passionate, collectors like yourself and made you buy 12 versions of Cobra Commander.
Him, Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander, they're in the, I'd say 50 to 70 different versions. It's
wow,
it's
really? I was trying to be modest and just throw a low number down. Wow, 50 to 70, huh?
It's a lot. There's a lot of different versions.
Man.
And there's collectors out there that'll have every version. No.
Yeah. Well, you have to.
Absolutely.
Love it. Yeah, so I see nothing's different in the world of vintage toys as it is in our the world that I play in sports cards.
Yeah. They just keep our wallets empty. They know how to do it,
Yeah. Oh man, too funny. So let me ask you this: what can you find, let's say, in stores today when it comes to GI Joe? Because let me put an asterisk on it. I could have sworn, like even today, like if I go by a toy section, like I see GI Joe action figures. Are those just like revamped, versions of the older toys?
That's all it is. They're reissuing vehicles, basically from the 80s. I'm sure there's small. I don't buy it, but I'm sure there's small tweaks to make it more user friendly of the year 2021, other than 1985. They came out the GI Joe. I think it's called GI Joe Classified, which is figures. They're a little bigger than the 3/4 inch figures. They haven't made the smaller figures in a while. They've been branching off to different things.
Got it.
Again, more based, I think, against the adult collectors and the kids.
What they're doing is they're taking that, rocket launcher that in 1985 would actually poke your eye out and changing it to the safe version for 2020 kids.
It's safer rockets now.
Yeah, I was gonna say back in our day, man, we really would have to go like this.
There was no holding back,
There was like some heavy duty, like industrial spring in there.
There was just everything was fair game. It didn't matter.
Ask me how I know, Joe. Just ask.
I bet you might have lost an eye once in a while.
I have an older brother. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, too funny. So let's talk now a little bit about, the popularity. Like, who are the most popular figures and characters to collect in G.I. Joe?
Yeah, Cobra Commander, Destro, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Firefly. They're your top guys, and of course you have others, Duke, and
Gung Ho,
on and on. The female characters like Scarlet. It's just it could go on. It's such a big lineup.
Yeah,
and like Star Wars as well. You kind of get hooked on someone, and you just you get all of that one character. So it's the same idea, but they're your main go-to characters in the line.
Got it. And I should know this. I'm almost slapping myself on the wrist. But there's also trading card issues of G.I. Joe, right? With a lot of with these characters, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Some cards, I think I might have a couple, but I never really got into them. But from the 80s, G.I. Joe's known well for the artwork. The artwork on the box and the packaging is phenomenal. And same thing with the cards that came out in the mid 80s. The artwork on the cards are, any listeners out there, check them out. If you're into that kind of stuff, they're really worth having. They're nice looking.
Cool.
Cards.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do some homework. And one thing I'm noticing about these podcasts and interviews I'm doing is I end up buying something right after.
I saw your earlier purchase tonight online. I was like, oh boy, really branching out.
Yeah.
No more 78 baseball.
No, that's it. I'm telling you, this hobby networking group is really broadening my horizons.
I'll tell you what, on a side note, thank you for doing this, because it keeps us guys, especially during these just crazy times, it keeps us interested, and thank you to you for taking the time to doing the work, because
oh no, it's my pleasure
watching.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and it's my pleasure. I absolutely love doing this and learning more. And I'm telling you, I've learned so much from you guys. So this is the feeling's mutual. Let's put it that way.
Thank you.
So yeah, so let's talk a little bit about your collection, Joe. Like if it's anything like the starting lineups interview we did a couple months ago, I'm sure I'm going to be impressed by some of the things you have. So can you talk through some of and what I'll do is I'll put some pictures up of some of the stuff that you talked to us about now. But can you talk about some of the items that you have?
Well, basically, my collection consists of, they're called O-ring figures. GI Joe has a couple different styles. I like the O-ring style, which basically goes from 1982 to 2010. Now, the newer they get, the less O-rings that were made. But I think I'm 5 short of having them all. And
Whoa.
there's about 1,000 made total from all those years.
Okay.
And,
did I hear you right? I'm sorry. O-rings is what you said?
O-ring, yeah. So basically,
Okay.
it's held together with a rubber band.
Okay. Yeah.
You'd see like on a piece of machinery or something like that.
Yeah, that's when he said O-ring. I was thinking like, machinery. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what holds it together. So they're called O-ring style.
Got it.
Or figures. And it's an iconic style. I mean, G.I. Joe, set the bar really for making the articulation with the swivel arms. And, everyone else's figures like Star Wars are almost robotic.
Yeah.
Great figures, but robotic. Hasbro really had a great design and really set the path for toys to come, from different brands, different companies. But my collection, it's big. I have mostly are loose. I do have a lot of min on card stuff. I have many of the vehicles that I can't display because they're just so big and take up so much room. And I can only have so many showcases.
Yeah.
But
I see you in the driveway with that massive, like, G.I. Joe tank in the backyard.
having races, But,
yeah, I could. Some of this stuff's got to be pretty big. I could imagine.
Yeah, I mean, like the USS flag is 7 feet long. I mean,
what?
Yeah, I just don't have. I don't want to have the room for something that's 7 feet long, let alone deal with trying to complete something like that. Because that's another issue with GI Joe is trying to complete small parts, broke easily.
Yeah,
it goes on and on. But I do like collecting the international stuff, which is a total different monster. International GI Joe collecting. I mean, it was
interesting.
Yeah, they were released worldwide, and maybe under a different name or different colors, different variations. It's another monster that's just it's tough to collect. It really is. But I have some of that stuff. Other than that, my collection pretty much complete for me. I don't have every single thing like vehicle wise. I like the variations. I'm a paperwork guy. I like the file cards and different kind of paperwork that came along with the toys, the boxes. Mm-hmm. I have all that stuff as well.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the stuff you sent me there.
I'll shoot some pictures for you.
Awesome. So let me ask you this: in every hobby, it's a very common issue and a popular question I ask is the element of fakes and the tech. And does that? I imagine that exists in the world of GI Joe.
It's huge. It's 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 ugly. It's ugly because there's collectors out there that they had these as a kid, and this goes on all the time. They want to get back into it. They want to relive their childhood.
Yeah.
And they might still have their stuff in the attic, and they go and they want to complete it. And we were kids. They're just missing a lot of parts. It's broken. It's missing. It's gone. Whatever. So they go online and they want to get that part. And there's a lot of fakes. One of the most popular fake items, and I'll send you a picture of this. It's for a character called Heavy Metal. Yeah. He came out in 85. He came with the Mauler tank, and in the plastic bag, he came with this little microphone about the size of a fingernail. Okay. It wasn't connected. It was loose. You had to put it in a little hole on his like his chin area. Mm-hmm. Well, kids didn't even realize that was in the bag. Okay. Now today, that piece is probably the most reproduced item in the GI Joe world. And I'll send you a pic of it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because it's probably like a $400 piece. So it's
wow, that little microphone's $400.
Microphone is costly. The figure itself, without the microphone, maybe $30. You add that microphone, and he also has a gun that breaks easily. You're talking like a $400 or $500 figure.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of fakes in many different, the toys themselves.
Yeah.
The Cobra figures, the Cobra symbol was worn very easily. Your fingernails scrape it right off. So they make fake chest plates with the symbol on there. And, guys that are just in it for fun, they're not going to realize this stuff.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's unfortunate. It's scary. When this stuff gets in the wrong hands, it's ugly. A lot of the mint on card stuff is being recarded, and guys are good. I mean, if you don't know it's a reproduction card, you'd never know it. And someone's out a lot of money. A Cobra Commander is $1,000 figure on the card. A Cobra Commander on a recard is $100 figure. So you're talking a big difference there.
Yeah. So groups like yours are I'm assuming, again, similar to the card world, the veteran collectors, if you will, of GI Joe are kind of just leaning on each other and helping each other out, I would imagine, right, to help detect fakes and all that, right?
Yeah. We try. It's a constant battle. It really is.
Yeah.
I know, like on my group, I won't allow it. And some people get mad about that. And look, I get it. People want to collect. Some people might, they don't care about that, and that's fine. They just want they want the look of the complete figure. I get it.
Yeah.
But someday that person is going to move on, unfortunately die, pass away, and that is going to get passed on to someone else. And, it's going to get in the wrong hands sooner or later. And it sucks, but it happens. It happens with all these toy lines. It's a big issue in the vintage toy community. Again, I'm for collecting, and I understand that they want the completeness of it, but
it's I totally get it. There's a thin line there, and I totally understand and respect that. And it's part of a lot of hobbies. And I figured I'd ask because as soon as you mention some of the values of these toys, and you just assume where there's dollars, there's the potential for there's the interest in fakes. So
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for quite some time, and GI Joe is getting more and more expensive and popular, and it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah. Well, it's good that a group like yours is out there and helping out the the fans, and making sure that they're getting the right stuff. So that part's important too.
Yeah.
So
We try the best we can, and we try to shut it down as soon as we see it. But it's a group of 19,000 people. It's hard to see everything.
Yeah, I could only imagine. Oh man. So let's talk a little bit rather about like the rarity and difficulty in some of these toys. Like common question I ask, and then the interview I'm doing, especially in something I'm not well versed in, is what do you consider to be like that Honus Wagner of GI Joe toys, and what makes that toy so difficult or rare?
Okay, and I don't have this, but I do want
it. Don't tell me it's a Freilich.
It's more expensive than the Freilich. In 1997, they came out with like an anniversary. I think I was telling you about that, the anniversary GI Joes, and they didn't make a lot of them. They made maybe 15, 20 characters, and one was Destro, and came in a 3-pack. It was Destro, Cobra Commander, and the Baroness. But the early runs, there was something called a Pimp Daddy Destro, and he had the leopard collar and the leopard like on the pants. And the story is this figure was almost a go. This figure was almost the go, and at the last minute, one of the Hasbro executives said, "You know what? This isn't going to sell.
It's a little too racy."
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what they said. It's a little too racy. Now, the name wasn't Pimp. His name wasn't Pimp Daddy Destro, but the collectors gave him this name. But the Hasbro executive didn't like it, and they cut it back. But about 100 of them got out, and I don't own it. It's the one. It's my grail. I'd love to have it, and someday I hope to have it in my collection. But that's the Honus Wagner. That's one of a lot of stuff. But
Joe, I gotta tell you, never in a million years would I have expected Pimp Daddy Destro to be the answer to that question. I mean, I'm sitting the first 10 seconds. I'm like, he's messing with me. I think he's messing with me. Wait a minute. But I was like, no, he's serious. He's not cracking a smile.
It's the real deal. When we get off, you Google Pimp Daddy Destro.
Oh man, I'm on it right after this interview.
Ironically, years later, it was a convention special, different style. Again, like I said before, I'm the O-ring style. G.I. Joe made something called a new sculpt, and it doesn't have the O-ring. And they did make a Pimp Daddy Destro. I think it's a convention or something, but it's not the original Pimp Daddy Destro.
No, if you're gonna go Pimp Daddy, you're gonna have to go original Pimp Daddy.
You go big or go home with the Pimp Daddy. You know?
Oh, I can't wait to see this. This is great, man.
That's the Honus Wagner. That's my holy grail. And there's lots of rare stuff out there. That's not, you know.
I'm gonna see the Sluseum with the headless bow
next to the Pimp Daddy Destro.
Next to the Pimp Daddy Destro. I love it. I love it.
Oh, you know you can find at the Sluseum. You know?
Just in case, for those that don't know, the headless bow is a reference to a very rare starting lineup that we talked about in a previous interview. So, but I digress. No, that's crazy. So let's talk a little bit about the current market then with GI Joes, and you know, just like every other market, you know, that's out there right now in the hobby world. Joe, I'm curious, you know, how has COVID impacted the world of GI Joe? Have you seen things the same, slight increase, a crazy boom like everything else? What's going on there?
Before COVID, GI Joe was extremely hot. I mean, just rising in value, something fierce, almost like it's like, whoa, what's going on? Slow down. When COVID hit, me personally, I was like, oh God, I should have saw that stuff when I had the chance. Now no one's working. This stuff's gonna be garbage. Well, guess what? It continues to rise. It's smoking hot. I mean, if I had to collect now what I have, I couldn't do it. I couldn't afford it. You know, it's just out of control, and I don't like, where is the limit? When's it gonna stop? I mean, I hope never, but you know, COVID, it really, I mean, like I said, it was hot before. It's hotter now. GI Joe is smoking hot.
You know, in the just few months that I've been doing this podcast, Joe, whatever category, you know, whatever type of hobby I'm talking about, the answer's been relatively the same.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mind-boggling, right? That because you think to yourself, like, oh, you know, this kind of growth, you know, it's not sustainable. At some point, it's got to level off. Yeah. But I'll wait till it levels off to buy it.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't level off.
No, and you know, I don't know where the money's coming from. I mean, for all these collectibles, I mean, you know, you follow things like I do. You know, the Jordan rookie right now, and you know, I don't understand. And same thing with the toys, like. Where is the money coming from? Like, wow, give me some.
I know, right? Well, I have some theories, and I'll leave that for offline.
Right. That's a different show.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm with you. It's you know, I echo those same words you just mentioned. I definitely tread lightly in things that I'm buying these days, where it's kind of like that fine line of interesting, scarce. You know, kind of, you know, my big thing's unopened. You saw what I just bought today with the skateboard stickers. I mean, it's so cool. It's something I always wanted. I was like, you know, I better buy it before this box becomes like, you know, $500. You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
So,
no, like going back to the Pimp Daddy Destro, one came up a couple of years ago. I think it was like $2,500, and that's a lot of money. Like, you know, and it was loose. It wasn't even on the card, and it's like. I don't know. It's $2,500. Like, that's expensive, and I didn't buy it. Well, now I don't know if I'd get one under $5,000. You know, it's you just don't know. You just don't know. Like, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you just don't know.
I totally get it. Totally get it. And I wouldn't have pulled the trigger either on it, but I totally get it.
Now, if I knew it was gonna be $5,000 now, well, then of course, but.
You need one of those, you know, Baby Yoda magic 8-balls like that Brandon has.
Yeah, right. Tell me, should I buy the Pimp Daddy Destro?
Should I buy a Pimp Daddy Destro? Oh, too funny. So, another question I have for everybody is, I know in some, we were talking about starting lineups as a matter of fact, and as one of the, in that world of, let's call it toys and action figures, about whether or not things are gradable. I'm assuming GI Joes are gradable, just like other vintage toys, right?
No doubt, no doubt. Highly
Okay.
gradable.
Okay.
Of course, obviously, the better the value, the better the grade, the higher the value.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and nowadays, especially with the carded stuff, I mean, I have a lot of carded stuff. I'm not, and nothing against the grading companies, but I'm just personally not a big grader. I just like the raw look of a toy. Now I do have some things graded. I'm not saying I have nothing done, but
Mm.
it's nice to have, especially the rare stuff, graded, encased, protected.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but reselling value, absolutely. I mean, if you have something that's nice and you think it's going to come back an 85 or an 80 or a 90,
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get double of what it would be worth without that grade.
Yeah, not to mention that reassurance. If you're
Exactly.
a rookie like me, let's say,
Yes.
I probably would go for the graded, just because I'm not well versed in the vintage toys.
Right. Just
so I know I have an authentic item. So
absolutely. Yeah. But very gradable. And it looks great in those cases. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it just makes them pop. It really does.
Yeah. So you were mentioning a couple of numbers there before. I guess like the not the pass fail line, but like, anything like 80 and above would be considered kind of like what the real, like, let's say intermediate and above collectors looking for.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, 85 always seems to be the magical number. 90.
Okay.
Whoa. Like, it's hard to get a 90, but it happens.
Yeah.
80 is kind of like, it's good, but it's not an 85,
Yeah. You might get it just to complete your set kind of thing. Yeah.
It might be a placeholder. And now there's certain figures that, are really tough to find mint, so you get that 80, you might be thrilled, so it's all in what the collector wants. It really,
yeah, I mean, you would take a 60 on a Pimp Daddy Destro if you get it, right? I figured, beggars can't be choosers on Pimp Daddy.
It's one of those things you just don't want to slip by,
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. This has been some good info, buddy, and I appreciate it. But I can't let you go without asking the $1 million question at the end of every interview. Too funny. So, what's the one item you sold that you missed the most, and why?
Well, again, like I said earlier, I'm a big paper guy. I love the artwork. I love even the instructions, all that stuff. I love, a quick backstory. When you're a kid, you had the Sears catalog, and you would just stare at those pictures for hours, like they're going to jump out at you. So I love the pictures and the photos and all that fun stuff.
Nice.
Back in 2009, I believe, I bought a GI Joe collection, and like most of us, we flip a lot of stuff. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say I keep it all, because I can't. I don't keep it all. And it came with this card. It was a Major Blood figure, and it came with this card that you could cut out. And I was like, what is this? It looks like someone like photocopied something on a piece of cardboard. So I sold the Major Blood figure with this card that it came on. Well, this card is like a really rare like piece of paper that you mail away for something. It's very highly collectible.
Wow.
And I basically gave it away. I didn't know. And,
you want this?
Yeah, here you go. I sold the Major Blood figure. I think I sold it on eBay. I sold the Major Blood figure with this. I thought, well, I'm just going to give this guy his card. Maybe he'll enjoy it. Well, I'm sure he is enjoying it.
Yeah.
But
meanwhile, on the other side is the story. Can you believe I got this?
And I don't even know what the value is of the card. It might be worth $5. It's not, but I don't.
Yeah.
I wish I would have kept it, because I like that stuff, and I don't even know why I know why, because I thought it was just something that wasn't real.
Yeah. Not to sound cheesy, Joe, and GI Joe cliche, but knowing truly is half the battle.
Well, that's one battle I lost.
Oh man, I had to slip that one in there.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad you did. But yeah, that's one thing I'd like to get back. But
yeah,
what are you gonna do?
That's
the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, that's very true. We've all been there in one shape or form, in one hobby or another. It's happened to all of us. But Yeah, no, but this has been great stuff. I can't wait to see those pictures. I'll make sure to throw them into the video, into the interview rather, so that the folks on YouTube can check it out. And yeah, thanks again. And definitely we got to deep dive into this and a couple of other things that you collect in a future episode, buddy.
Absolutely. I'm always up for it. I love this.
Awesome. Awesome. So thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Dave. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. Please click on the like and subscribe button. Just a couple quick updates. We are officially live on iTunes, Google, as well as Spotify for our podcast. Go to HobbyNetworkGroup.com for more details and links. Thanks for watching today's video and have a great day. Bye.